Hey, day 6. Today is dedicated to deployment. Whenever you create your project, you need to deploy it somewhere. Deploy basically means you are putting your work from your local machine to somewhere on the cloud or somewhere where other people can access it. Just like you can access any website, any platform, any tool, any product out there. Okay, any software product basically. Okay, that's what deployment means. And to understand deployment, you will find um, the starting point as Python along with Flask. So Flask is a micro framework. Okay. What this micro framework means? It means that you don't need a architecture or dedicated architecture to follow to build your project. Okay. So Flask is something you know about Netflix. It is built on Flask. There is another micro framework of Python, which is Django. There's a D before it. Okay, so that's a D Django, but it's pronounced that as Django. Okay, and Django is basically not a micro framework, but it's a major framework. Okay, major framework basically means that you need to follow an architecture. The architecture of something like model view controller. So model view controller is something which is used in Java and other languages, Spring Boot, I think. And this is a proper structure of creating everything in your file, in your project. And similar to that, Django follow a particular structure. So even if you are creating a simple page, you need to follow that architecture. Okay. But what's good about Flask is you don't need to follow a particular architecture. Architecture in the sense that all the necessary requirements should be done to build that project. So you don't want to do that. And that's why you go with Flask. Flask is um, very easy to implement your APIs. Okay. And that's why we are going to use Flask. All right. So deployment is one more thing that um, when you see all these models that you use, these models are generally going to be on your local machine or the environment you are working in your team. Okay. Uh, one day you need to deploy that. That means you need to make sure it is going to be used by thousands of users. So for example, you are using ChatGPT. So thousands of millions of users are going to query it and it will generate an answer. Okay. So that particular model is already deployed somewhere, which means on a cloud, so that people can access it. Okay, through a website you can access that model. All right. Similar to that, when you deploy these, so there is a whole process of doing that. There are multiple steps to doing it, and that model will be available on the server, and you will query it through anything like a front end or something, and the API will be called. The API will execute a particular code, and it will access the model's parameter, generate an answer, and give a response to you in the front end. Okay, so there is a whole lot of big process goes on, but yeah, to start with a local machine, you need to put your work out there, as I told you earlier also. And that's why deployment is the most important part. Basically, you are making your project live, okay, in the real. And when you do that, you will realize that there are a lot of limitations your project have. Those limitations were working on your local machine, but was is not working in the real world, where other users are randomly testing it in their own way. Okay, let me give you a simple example. For example, you are ordering a phone and there is a drop down menu, okay, to how many quantities you want. You will always find um, a drop down, like you can enter one or two or three. These quantities are or will not be a text input. So you cannot pass 2.5 or 3.5. So you cannot order 3.5 phones, obvious reasons. Okay. And that is why people are going to do random things with your product. So you have to make sure that the user is going to use it in a certain way. And that is why we are going to make sure to build it around, or it will be much more difficult when you put it out there. Okay, that's why deployment is most important. And because every company you are going to join, they have a product or they are providing a service, or it will be somewhere on the cloud and they are sharing their work, their clients work on internet and users are using it. So they are expecting you to understand deployment. Okay, that's why deployment is important. All right, so this is the guide for deployment, and you can set up your own environment and you can work on it. I'm using Flask and scikit-learn and other tools that are required here. So you can go through them part by part, and you can finally uh, deploy your own project. Okay, so that's it. That's it for day 6. You can go through this guide. I'm creating smaller videos on this one on just why question, that why this topic is important. Okay, and that is why I can create a consistency here. Along with that, you will find uh, multiple videos that I am creating for you guys. For example, I just added a GitHub video as well. So if you are a beginner with GitHub, you want to work on open source, or you want to build your GitHub profile, all the details are available in this video. It's a 50 minutes video, so you can check that out. So other resources I will slowly put here, so you can learn from there, or you can learn from the guide I'm sharing. Okay, so that's it for day 6. All right,